So now we're going to look at setting up the Python IDE development environment. So IDE is basically an integrated development environment. Specifically, Python has what we call an idle shell. An idle stands for an integrated development and learning environment. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be downloading Python, looking at the environment, and also we'll look at PyCharm, which is another IDE, so we can have another alternative. So let's just get started there. So we're going to start by going to python.org. Then you're going to click on downloads. And when you go to downloads, there are different versions depending on your operating system, whether you have Linux, Mac, or Windows. In my case, I have Windows. So I am going to go ahead and install the latest version, 3.12.1, and I'm going to click download Python. Now, if you do have Linux or if you have Mac, feel free to download that version and it should work according to your operating system. But once it is complete, you're going to go ahead and click on that, and then we're going to click install now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let that install. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and download PyCharm. So in order to download PyCharm, you can simply just enter PyCharm into your search bar. And then under jetbrains.com, if you click here, you can go to download. And initially, you'll be prompted with a PyCharm professional version. There's a free 30-day trial if you do want to go for the professional version. However, you don't have to take that approach. And by the way, it does support all the operating systems as well, Windows, Mac, and Linux. We can go back and we can just select other versions, and PyCharm is awesome enough to have a free community edition available. So we're going to go ahead and download the Windows version of the community edition for PyCharm. Now you can see different revisions. The latest release date looks to be here, the 25th of January 2024. So we are going to go with the latest and greatest. So I'm going to go ahead and select Windows, the Windows executable version there. And we're also going to want to download that. So looks like Python was complete. Let's go ahead and complete the installation for PyCharm as well. Okay, so click on next, next. And I would say, if you want to have a shortcut, you can go ahead and send that to your desktop. Also, there is an update path variable. This is optional. I would recommend it. You don't have to do this, but basically it adds a bin folder to your path. Doesn't hurt. I think it just helps. So with that, you can just go ahead and install that. Okay, so while that's installing, we don't need our web resources right now. It looks like Python is complete here, so we can close this. And now you should have Python downloaded. So if I just, start entering Python in the search bar, it will come up and it'll give you the idle Python app of the version that you just downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And upon clicking on this, you'll see the idle shell, and it is ready for real-time programming. You can see the operator there with the 3 arrows that indicates that it's ready. So for instance, if I typed in help, there you go. It's giving me prompt feedback, and you can enter in whatever programming command you want in the idle shell. The other thing you can do in the Python environment is you can select File, New File, and then on here, it will essentially give you the Python coding environment or development environment where you can write code and send it to the shell. So whatever code I write here, I can simply click on run and then run module. So I can just select run module and it will run the code and send it to the shell, or I can simply just hit F5 and it'll do the same thing. And we'll be looking more at this, but it is important for you to understand the environmental look and features of the idle shell. We're going to be using that consistently throughout the course, and we also will be looking at PyCharm So PyCharm is pretty neat. It says here, do you want to reboot? That's because we requested to add the path to the bin folder, but that's okay for now. We can reboot later. So I'm going to click finish. Now PyCharm is really neat in the sense that it's visually it's more visually friendly, and it also does provide the features or certain features that the idle shell doesn't have. For instance, it's able to auto detect errors as you're typing it. If you're typing code and you stumble across errors, it will detect that for you. So anyway, once I run PyCharm, it's asking me if I want to import any settings, but in my case I don't. You won't need to either if you're starting off. So just click OK there. And once you click OK, you'll be shown the PyCharm environment. And then you want to start with a new project. So click on New Project. And once you click on New Project here, it's very important for you to select the Python version. Okay, if you don't do this, you will fall into an error when you try to run your first script. Now, you're going to want to go with what the system detects. So obviously, as you saw, I downloaded Python 3.12. So that's what it detects here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, so that's my Python version. I also want to create a main welcome script. Why not? Let's get an example going for us here. So I'm going to click on create on the bottom there, and it's setting up your virtual environment and the interpreter paths, and then there you go. You have a sample Python script, and if you look closely, we are going to be learning more about syntax and what have you, but you will see that it will print PyCharm. So I can click the run button here. So upon clicking run, you're going to see that it prints hi, comma, PyCharm. All right, so that's a little overview of the Python IDE environments that we'll be learning with. You're more than welcome to use either or, but I do want to make sure that I present both of them so that you have a good introductory understanding of each for your learning goals.